What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. If you ever watch any of my other videos, you'll notice sometimes there's a dog that barks at the door and makes me let her in, or she gets tangled up in my cord, my mic cord, or my guitar cords, or any of that. This is her. This is Simone. This was my mother's dog, and when she passed away, I inherited her. So, this is my little sister, I guess you would say. Say hello, Simone. She doesn't want to be here. But you may hear her here in a little bit. She likes to lay on her back and dance and make these crazy noises. Listen to some of my videos. You'll hear it in the background. Arr, arr. That's her. Anyway, I thought I would do a quick review today of a new feature I was going to add to the channel was movie reviews. And me and the wife checked out one this past weekend called Abigail. So you probably know a little bit about it. If you've seen the trailers for it or anything, you pretty much know everything you need to know about the movie. So there's a little girl, she's about 12 years old in the movie. She gets kidnapped, taken away to a place being held for ransom. And once she's there, everybody gets locked in this place and they realize she's actually a vampire and she lured them there to kill all of them. So that's really about all you need to know about the movie. That's not a spoiler. That was in the trailer. So, not like a good horror movie and just vampire movies. Some of them are hit or miss, but this one, I actually enjoyed this one. I thought it was pretty good. Had some good vampire type elements in it, plus had some little bit of humor. It was just pretty good. All the characters, you kind of got to know each of them in a way that made them. Some of them you kind of hated. You were glad when they got killed. And there was a couple you were a little more sympathetic towards. And but all in all, it was a pretty good flick. The little girl that plays Abigail, she did a really good job in this. I mean, she could switch from being the scared little girl because, when she's getting kidnapped, she acts scared. And you really buy it. Like, she looks terrified. And and then she could just switch this thing into being this crazed little kid with the crazy teeth, and she's coming at you. And some of the ways some of the kills went about were pretty interesting. People running, screaming for their lives as she's chasing them down the hallway, but she's just kind of dancing, doing pirouettes and all this kind of stuff as she's chasing them. It's kind of like she's toying with them, I guess you would say. And so I thought it was good. I thought it was funny. It was, and like I said, a lot of the people she did that to, you were kind of glad when she caught them anyway. So it's kind of like you're rooting for the vampire in this movie for most of it, really. So, because really, I mean, the people that she's chasing are kidnappers. So, hey, what better people to eat? Other than that, that's about all you can really say about it without giving anything away that would be a spoiler. So from here on, I guess you might, if you haven't seen it and you're interested in it, go check it out and then come back and tell me what you thought about it. Right now it's July 24. We rented it on Amazon Prime for like $5.99. So it's worth the $5.99. That's usually my breaking point when I go to rent movies that you still have to pay for on streaming is the $5.99. Because usually they start at $19.99, and I have to really want to see that movie to pay that for. Usually I would just buy it because usually there's an option to buy it for like $24.99. So I'll just buy it if it's a movie I really want to see. And I think I've done that once at that price. It was one of the last Jurassic Park movie. But this one, but yeah. So once it jumps down to $5.99. I'm okay with paying that. We used to pay $4 a rent at Blockbuster, and you had to drive down there and get it, come home, watch it, take it back, and all that kind of good stuff. So $5.99, just click it on. That's good. So I didn't regret spending $5.99 for it, so I don't think you will either. So anyway, from this point forward, it's a little more spoiler detail-y type stuff. Like I said, the basic premise of it. The show starts off with this little girl just dancing. She's a ballerina. She's got her ballerina outfit on. She's dancing on this stage in an empty auditorium. It's kind of like she's practicing for a recital or something. Meanwhile, there's a team of 6 people. There she goes. a team of 6 people setting up to kidnap her. You got 4 men, 2 women. One of the guys, I mean, they got a sniper on the roof. They got a guy's professional wheelman, driver. I mean, they're this is a one. You got a computer hacker, a young girl, 20 something. She's hacking into alarms, and I mean, so I mean, these are well. This is a big operation to kidnap this little girl because she's from a wealthy family, and to get into her property, it's a there's an electronic gate, and it's a big house, and this kind of thing. So they set up to they set up to do the kidnapping, and when they go into the girl's bedroom, one of the girls, the other female kidnapper, I think her name was Joey, realizes, wait a minute, you never tell me we were kidnapping a kid, and everybody's like, well, if you want to leave, leave, but we're. So she decides to stay, and but you can tell she's not really happy about it. And you find out later they're being paid $7 million a piece to do this. So I'm sure that was a motivating factor for her. But Joey's the one in charge. Apparently she was a medic in the army, so she's the one in charge of tranquilizing the girl. And when she opens up her little kit, you can see she has 2 syringes, and that's important because this comes into play later. But anyway, the little girl comes home. Nobody's home. She walks in her bedroom, and they pounce out and they grab her. Joey sticks her with the needle. They throw in her duffel bag, and out they go. As they're going out the back door, Dad's coming in through the front door. Wheelman pulls up to the gate, slide the door, van opens, and they pile in, and off they go. As the alarms are going off at the house, Dad realizes, So they then proceed to the place where they're going to hold the little girl, and it's like when you watch movies and characters do just stupid things, you're like, that's not how you would do that. It's irritating, but you kind of expect it in horror movies. Characters always make bad choices, and that's just part of the genre. But in this case, the wheelman decides, once they've gotten clear of the area and they're way far away, he decides he's going to floor that van and just tear through the city. It's like, that's a good way to get the cops to pull you over and see all these people dressed in black in the back of this van with a duffel bag that's probably squishing around. So anyway, but they don't get caught, so they make it. But I was just sitting there scratching my head. Just drive normal. Why would you do that? So anyway, the driver of the van, he's one of the people you're glad when he gets killed. He's really kind of a scumbag. So, and I hate saying that because the guy that played him in real life, that guy died, I guess, before the movie even came out, because there's a dedication to him at the end. So nothing personal against him, his character. So anyway, when they get back to the they take them to a kind of a gothic mansion, and it's out in the middle of nowhere. And they get there, and I think his name, he said Giancarlo Esposito, the guy that played Fring on Breaking Bad. He's there. He's the guy that they're bringing the little girl to. And he basically tells them, look, put her in a bedroom, nobody talk to her except Joey, keep your masks on, don't let nobody see your face, refrigerator's full of food, bar's full of booze, be back in 24 hours, you'll each get your $7 million, we're out of here. So they start asking questions, whose little kid is this? I said, you don't need to know that, don't worry about it. So everybody's kind of wondering, who is this kid? So they sit around, have some drinks, they're partying, they're, kind of relaxing, playing some pool, and that's when you kind of get to know the characters as they're talking to each other. And there was really a lot of bravado, chest bumping going on, people trying to puff out their chest in front of the others, trying to, I guess, trying to establish dominance or whatever, but they were all kind of, most of them, you're kind of like this. I can't wait for this little girl to just eat every one of them, except for Joey. You feel you kind of like Joey, and the other 20-year-old hacker girl. She was just kind of dingy, but she was smart on computers. But other than that, she didn't really seem to be somebody you'd want to sick a vampire on. But those guys, ugh, no, nobody felt bad when they died. So once they've kind of hashed it out here at the table, Joey decides she's going to go check on the little girl. They've put her in a bedroom upstairs. She's handcuffed, hands behind her back. She's handcuffed, chained to a bed, and she has a blindfold on. So Joey goes in. She pulls the thing up over her eyes, so all you can really see is her eyes. And she goes in, she's talking to the little girl, trying to tell her, look, everything's going to be okay. Don't worry about it. It's fine. You know, I'm not going to let anybody hurt you. So this little girl says, well, can you take my blindfold off? Can you move my handcuffs? She's uncomfortable. So Joey handcuffs her in the front, takes her blindfold off, and they're talking. And the little girl's like, my dad's not going to pay y'all anything for me. He don't love me. So she decides, well, who is your dad? And she said his last name is Lazar. Apparently Lazar is a big-time gangster criminal mob boss in this town where they live, and people that cross him tend to die. So as she's leaving the room, Abigail tells her, Joey, I'm really sorry for what's going to happen to you. And she just says this, the way she said it was kind of like, it made you kind of feel, and it made her feel that way too, because she left out of there. She starts telling everybody this is going to be a problem, something's up. So when everybody else finds out it's Lazar, everybody starts kind of panicking a little bit, except for the 20-year-old hacker girl. She doesn't really seem to know who he is. But everybody else is like, one of the guys tries to leave. He's like, I'm out of here. Y'all can take my share of that money and split it up however you want. I'm out. And when he goes to leave, he realizes there's iron gates on the door. When he opens the interior door, there's iron gates. Can't open. And when they try to slam into it, all the metal shutters go up on all the windows, and now they're really locked in. So this is when they decide, well, I guess they kind of decide at this point we might as well wait it out. We ain't got much else we can do. Or they do kind of plot. Maybe if we tell Lazar, hey man, we're sorry, give the girl back, and this guy's not really known for being real understanding, and he's not one to really talk about his feelings. So they decided, see where this goes. So the wheelman who, and another thing, they can't tell each other their real names because it's kind of like on Reservoir Dogs. The Esposito guy, he doesn't want anybody being able to come back and rat on anybody else. They don't want to be able to rat on him, so nobody knows anybody's real name. So they give everybody all these fake names. And the wheelman, he's the first one to go. He goes downstairs. Looks like it's in a basement where this kitchen is. And an unknown being grabs him and drags him away. You just see him, dragging away, and you don't really see what happens to him or who grabbed him. So then 20-something-year-old hacker girl comes down to see what's up. She heard a scream or whatever, and she sees the wheelman sitting in a chair with his back to her, and she's calling out to him, and he's not responding. And so when she comes up closer to him, his head just falls off his body, and it's like, and it's not really a clean cut. It was kind of jagged, and he's all mauled up and everything. And of course, she freaks out, and everybody comes running down. What the? And so now they think, okay, her dad found out where we are, and the dad is known for having a hitman named Valdez. They sent Valdez here. He's in the house. We're all gonna die. We're all gonna die. It's one of those kind of things. So they decide they're gonna go confront the little girl and find out, hey, what's going on here. And they peek in on her. She's still laying in bed, chilling, sleeping. And they come back, and at some point they decide they're going to rush in there. When they found out, well, they had done that earlier, I guess. When they decided they were going to take a stand, they all make weapons. They take a pool stick, make a spear out, stabby stake out of it, and they all go rushing into the bedroom to confront this little girl. And she's like, I don't know, I don't know anything. And then as they're arguing amongst themselves, she's over there dislocating her wrist and slipping the handcuffs off, and 20-something-year-old hacker girl's like, guys, there's something going on here. And they all turn around and look at her. She's standing there unshackled now. And this is when, I guess, probably the first time you see her transfer into evil, psychotic vampire girl. And like I said, she does it. She switches that gear really well. And next thing you know, it's on. She's attacking them. She's slashing them. She's going at them. And So they're really going. Oh, before that, the reason I think they decided, sometimes I get my sequences out of it. One of the kidnappers, another kidnapper, had died, but nobody saw what happened to him either. It happened fast. He had just died. That's when they decide, okay, to go. So anyway, they're starting to get panicky. She's attacking them. She's freaking. They're freaking out because they're like, they realize this little girl's a vampire. She's got the teeth. She's super strength and all this kind of stuff. So they managed to get out of there, try to lock her in the room, but now this little girl's got them kind of pinned in her little playground. And so from there on, it just kind of her popping up here and there to try to get them and this and that. And like I said, when characters do dumb things, when you ever watch horror movies and like they hear a noise, and so even though they know there's a killer on the loose, they go into the dark hallway by themselves to find out what the noise is. You're like, don't go in there. Wah, wah, wah. All of our kidnappers decide, well, we're going to find this little girl. We're going to kill her. Oh, they were going to use that other syringe that, because the regular weapons during that fight in there too, they had shot her in the head, and she came right back. So like, these weapons aren't working. What are we going to do? Joey remembers they've got the syringe. I've got one more left. That worked on her. She really was knocked out. So they decide they're going to try to pin her down, and but they got to find her first. And so they decide to go their separate ways. And then they're like, if we see her, call out and we'll all come to where you're at. It's like, even though she's been able to kill people like in like a second and a half, without anybody seeing. So from that point on, it's, her chasing them around the house. And like I said, being the ballerina that she is, as she's chasing these guys down the hall, she's just twirling and walking on the banister and the railing of the stairs, and just taking her time and being cool and pout. So anyway, it's fun though, because some of the times when those guys are running, you can tell they act like they're genuinely scared. They're screaming and and they're going at it. So it's pretty entertaining. They do manage to pin this little girl down and inject her with the drug, and they find a place to put her. Like I said, it's an old mansion. There's an interior elevator in there that's just a metal cage. You can see through it all the way around. And they lock her in, make like a jail cell out of it. And so then she's like telling them, well, when she comes to, whoever lets me out of here, I'll let you live, because I'm going to kill the rest of these folks. And there's one of the kidnappers. He's a ex-police officer who was dirty, used to work for her dad, we found out later. And he said, all right, I'll do it. So he went to go let her out, and then he says, eh. And so she then proceeds, she's bargaining with all of them. Let me out of here. I'll help you, blah, blah. Well, then as the cop guy is standing there in front of the door, she knocks the door completely off the hinges, sends it flying across the room, hitting him, knocking him across the room, letting her know basically she was never really trapped in the first place. So that was a pretty cool part, because he really didn't expect the way she got out of there. I mean, I knew she could probably get out of there, but the way she did it, it was pretty cool. And and then there were some elements of the show where 20-year-old hacker girl gets bit by Abigail. And so, in all these movies, there's different rules. Like in the old vampire movies, if you held up a cross or you had garlic, she proved to them that none of that affected her. But the rules in this vampire movie are, if she bites you, you turn into a vampire, but the vampire that bites you can control you. So 20-year-old hacker girl turns into a vampire, and Abigail is controlling her like a drone from somewhere else in the house and sicking her on people. But she winds up dying, and the 20-year-old hacker girl winds up dying. I think she stepped in sunlight, I believe. And when these vampires die, they explode like somebody had stuck C4 inside of them. They just blood everywhere. And so they decided, during this time, they were trying to find the control room so they could figure out how to open those metal doors and stuff. And they figured the hacker girl could get in there. She could figure it out. Well, she's kind of off the table now, but they do find the control room, and who's in there but Gus Fring from Breaking Bad, and he lets them know basically he knows the ex-cop. Apparently, he knows who he is, and says, "Well, tell you what, Abigail turned me a while back, and he basically hated her for it. He's like, I don't want to do, I don't want to be in this family anymore. I'm tired of these people. I'm tired of this girl turning me into a vampire. I'll bite you. We'll team up. We'll kill Abigail. And when her dad gets here, we're going to kill him too." Just come to find out, her dad is also a vampire. And we also find out that this Valdez hitman that's rumored to be killing everybody is actually Abigail. She's the one because the people are being ripped to pieces, and it's her doing it. But there's this urban legend out there. It's some guy named Valdez, but it's actually this 12-year-old girl who's actually over 200 years old, we found out later. So anyway, Gus Fring bites the cop. Cop turns into a vampire. And then he turns around and kills Gus Fring from behind. Says, "I'll take care of this myself." And so he tries to kill Abigail. And Abigail's getting a run for his money. Abigail tells Joey, by this time, Joey's the only other kidnapper left. And Abigail kind of likes her, I think, but hey, it's his business. We got to do what we got to do. And so I tell you what, you and I will kill. I need you to help me kill this guy. I can't take him alone. And so they do. She teams up, and cop guy, he's putting up a pretty good fight. He bites Joey, and before she turns, they do manage to kill the cop guy. But now Joey's worried, I'm going to turn into a vampire. That guy's going to be... And she says, well, basically the rules in this movie are if the vampire that bit you dies, I guess before you turn, you don't turn. I'm assuming that's the rule. That's what Abigail told her. You'll be fine. He died. You don't have to worry about it. So Joey doesn't die, and then Dad shows up, and he looks like a guy that he doesn't. Like Abigail's kind of formed a bond with Joey, and Dad comes in with the crazy teeth, and he's, he don't feel a bond to her. So he's about ready to chow down on some Joey himself, and but Abigail kind of convinces him, just let her go. Joey's gonna need some money and go pick her son up, and they just want to disappear, and that's it. So Dad basically tells Joey, you better leave. It's getting close to dinner time, and they let her leave, and that's kind of the end of the movie. But so one of the kidnappers does survive, and it's the kidnapper you would want to survive. I guess they set it up that way, and pretty good movie. There's scenes in it. And parts of it towards the end where there is a ton of blood. So if there's anything that you're squeamish of, like a lot of blood, violence, may not be the movie for you. If profanity is not your thing, may not be the movie for you. They do drop some F-bombs throughout the movie. If you watch any of my videos, you know that I am in a Christian rock band as well, original band, playing in a band called Warrior Alive. We do play original music. So I am a Christian man, and I try to not say bad words and this and that, but I hear people cuss all the time. It doesn't bother me. The only thing that bothers me is when people take the Lord's name in vain, and they do that in this movie a couple times, like where they say the Lord's name and they say, effing in front of it. I don't like that. That just, ugh. But other than that, if that kind of stuff doesn't bother you, it's not going to bother you. But all in all, it was a good movie, though. I mean, I enjoyed just. It was a fun, hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes, whatever it was, and for $5.99, it's worth it. Or if you wait a little longer, it'll be free streaming somewhere. And but if you like horror, you like vampires, this was kind of a different take on a vampire movie. It was a little different than some of the other ones I've seen, and it was all right. Well done. All the actors did a good job. They all played their parts pretty well, and they all had each personalities. Some of them were kind of scumbaggy, some of them were kind of dumb. There was a big muscle-bound guy there. He was the muscle, and you could tell he said some things throughout that he was kind of not the brightest bulb, you know, and but then at some point he was willing to go in and kill the little girl because he was told to, even though it's just part of the job. So he's kind of a scumbag himself. So, but anyway, decent flick. Check it out. It's a good movie. Hoping to do some more of these pretty soon. Watched a lot of movies lately, and you know, sometimes it helps just to listen to somebody else rant about it for a few minutes. You can kind of get an idea if you like it or not. There's better reviewers out there than I am. This is actually kind of new for me, so mine are probably stupid and drag on for too long. But hey, I don't do this for a living. It's just for fun. So just like watching this dumb movie was just for fun. But I think you enjoy it. So anyway, go see you some Abigail. Take it easy.